Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to learn about how to play the Queen's Gambit and the Queen's Gambit Declined. But before we get into that, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more great opening videos. So here we're going to learn basically where to put our pieces and kind of the strategy we want to use to win these positions. So generally it's going to start with d5. You could see e6 first, but we're going to look at it through this move order. Now before we look at e6, we're going to first look at take on c4. And they accept a gambit. So a gambit is generally when we sacrifice a pawn for play. So here I think the best move order is going e3. Now e3 we don't make any weaknesses, and we're just going to get our pawn back and have a nice space advantage. So if they try to hold onto this pawn with b5, we have this very common trap with a4. Now here if a6, we can just take on b5, take, and now take the rook because of the pin. So black's going to try to avoid that, and he's going to go c6. But now after c6, we can capture, and we have the very strong queen f3, hitting this rook. The only way to keep the rook alive is to go knight c6. But here you just capture, and you're just going to be up a full piece, which would be very, very nice for white. So here you can't really hold onto that pawn. So instead, you're probably going to see knight f6 or e5. First, we'll look at knight f6. Now here we just capture our pawn back, and now we're just going to develop our pieces. Remember with d4, the big thing is just have that space advantage. Stay principled and wait for your opponent to kind of make weaknesses. And also note that all of black's pieces, though I guess many aren't developed right now, but you're going to see are going to be behind this third row. And we're going to have that big space advantage. So here, knight f3, if bishop e7, now we're just going to go knight c3, castle, castle, and we're going to enjoy this position. Once again, we see everything is very cramped. Generally, you're going to probably see queen e2, bishop d2, and the rook's coming to the e file and the d file. And our long-term goal is to push e4 and have a very nice space advantage. Now instead of bishop e7, you might see c5. Now here we're also going to castle, so here we don't mind this isolated pawn. So take, take, and we're just going to develop our pieces in a very straightforward manner. Bishop g5, knight c3, once again queen e2, rook d1, rook e1, and just wait for your opponent to make a mistake. Remember, being cramped is pretty hard for black. There'll be tactics that will arise in the position with your more active pieces. So that's how you're going to want to play against those variations, basically, if they take on c4. Now the last one we're going to look at is with e5. Very similar. We're just going to take this isolated pawn, so bishop takes pawn. Actually, we're going to do it in a tricky move order, so we're going to go knight f3, take, and now bishop takes pawn. Now they could fall for this trick with take on e3. Now here we can take on f7, play if king takes, we take the queen, and we're just up a queen now. And if king e7, he's not going to be able to castle, and we're going to go queen b3. And just this open king is going to be under attack very, very soon. If like this, now rook e1 is coming, and this king is, or this king will either get mated or black will end up losing a bunch of material. So here, if they don't fall for this trick, then we simply just take this kind of nice spatial position where there's a pretty big space advantage. So you're going to see like this, bishop b4 check, something like this, knight takes, castle, castle, and our pieces are just a little bit more active, and we can easily transition into a nice, slightly better endgame. So that's how you're going to want to play against this take on c4, basically a accepted line. Now instead, you're probably going to see this probably more commonly, e6. And now I never like to recommend these positions for black because white is the one only playing for kind of anything here. So after knight f6, we can only take, take. If knight takes, we go e4, and we're going to have a very strong center. And we're going to be happy here, just once again develop our pieces very naturally and use that nice spatial advantage. So you probably never see that. Generally, you'll see e takes d5. Now here, we're going to go bishop g5. And after bishop e7, we're going to go e3, bishop d3, c6, and now we have a couple of variations. The one I like the best is going to be knight to e2. I always like going knight e2 in these positions just so we can avoid bishop to g4, and that pin is definitely kind of annoying. So here you're probably going to see knight d7. If they do go bishop g4, we're going to reply with f3. So here, f3, bishop h5, knight f4, and we're going to grab that bishop pair, and we're going to have a very nice slight advantage in this position. Now, instead, after knight e2, they probably go knight d7, and now castle, rook e8, and now rook c1. And you're going to see bishop b1, queen d3, making a battery against his h7 pawn. And another idea is we have this minority attack idea, where we're going to go a3, b4, b5, and try to make a weakness over here on this queen side. So this is going to be a very standard setup that you see in this queen's gambit. So remember, the move order can be different sometimes, but really try to remember where are these pieces going. Now here, c6, we're going to get basically the same thing. Bishop d3, knight e2, and just develop our pieces. Once again, go rook c1, bishop b1, queen d3, and just have a nice kind of piece coordination and a little bit more active. And lastly, if we see c5, here we can go knight f3, and once the bishop moves, remember this principle. Once this bishop moves, now we take on c5, and the bishop has to move again. We save the tempo, and this d5 pawn is going to be very weak. Remember, when we have these isolated pawns, generally our piece is a lot more active. Here, this isolated pawn is by itself, and we actually have the more active pieces on top of that. So we'd be happy with this isolated pawn. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out wolfchess.org for great puzzles, lessons, and videos, and hope you guys were entertained.